It is late September and we are embracing all things autumn around here. Join me this week as I cook several things with pumpkin, bring some fall florals inside, and savor this season. Thank you so much to KiwiCo for sponsoring today's video. September into October is truly one of the most lovely times of year where we live. I find that September is just the best of all worlds. You always get some days where the temperature drops down low and it sounds really fun to go out and make a pizza outside, but also you get some days that really feel like summer. And in addition to all of that, the garden is blooming with so many things because your summer stuff is still going pretty strong because it is not quite cold enough to kill it yet, but also your autumn stuff is in season. So this is always just such a lovely time of year here. And then even going into October, you can bank on really good weather for the most part. Nothing in the Midwest is certain, but you can really bank on some good weather. So this is a time of year that we love to fully embrace and really savor. For my family, a big part of savoring the fall months, my husband loves fall. It's his favorite season by far, is doing pizzas on the outdoor pizza oven. As many of you guys know, we have an Uni pizza oven and we absolutely love it. So we saw the temps. We had what we call a fool's fall, where there was 1 week of absolutely beautiful weather. And when we saw those temps, I immediately started making pizza dough. It was definitely one of those days where it sounded so fun to make a pizza. So we just did our very classic marinara, cheese, sausage, but I am definitely wanting to do some more fall flavored pizzas in the coming weeks. I did share with you guys a couple weeks ago that pizza dough is something that I am trying to get better at. And this batch went so much better because I really committed to making sure it was fully mixed before I let it do its rising all day. And it turned out so good. It worked perfectly. So thank you for all the tips that you guys left in the comments for making pizza dough. It definitely did work. And that is going to be the move moving forward. I am so excited to introduce to you guys today's video sponsor, KiwiCo. KiwiCo makes learning fun for all ages, and with their Panda Crate subscription line designed for babies from 0 to 36 months, you can encourage your little one to play with fun, purposeful, research-backed toys that engage all 5 senses and lay the foundation for future learning and discovery. My daughter was so excited to open her Panda Crate, and she has loved getting to play with and discover different senses, and we have loved getting to watch that. Her little Panda Crate came with a xylophone that she has had so much fun playing with. We love to get to hear her banging away at it, and I have tried to give her different spoons and all sorts of different things that she can discover new ways that this thing works, and I have loved getting to watch her do that. On top of her learning, I love that the Panda Crate really involves the parents. It comes with a little booklet explaining the baby's brain development and all the things that are happening and why these toys and activities are catered just towards that age. And that has been really cool for me and my husband to kind of help understand her and what is going on. And I love that all of these toys are research-backed and help support both her and us as parents. Another thing that I absolutely love about the KiwiCo Panda Crate is that the toys are so pretty, which sounds silly. I just love the way they look out in my home. I don't mind when they're left on the coffee table because they're so pretty. And I know that they are going to last for a very long time. We love our KiwiCo Panda Crate around here, and I know that you guys will too. So if you are ready to give KiwiCo a try, you can visit kiwico.com/sunnydays and use the code sunnydays to save 20% off of your first Panda Crate. Thank you so much to KiwiCo for sponsoring today's video. I have briefly mentioned this in the past that we have a volunteer pumpkin patch that popped up in our compost pile. Our neighbor tossed a pumpkin on it last year at the end of the season, and it really took off, and we have several pumpkins that are all starting to become ripe. So I have never cooked with whole pumpkin, which is why I am doing this wrong, which I Googled later and found that there's an easier way to peel pumpkins, but I have never cooked with it. But this year we are definitely going to be doing that more because we have at least 10 ripe pumpkins that we can bring inside and cook with. They are the type that are really good for making pumpkin puree. So I wanted to do it for the first time, and I decided to just take this whole pumpkin and make it into a puree, and then I wanted to make a ton of different recipes with it. While I am making the puree, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about our vintage oven. This is really new to our home, as I'm sure many of you guys know because it was in a very recent video. And so far, we have been really enjoying it. We have a couple vintage appliances now and have always had really good experiences with them, but they're not all sunshine and rainbows. I do have to be 100% honest. This stove is so nice and so beautiful, and I love having the center in the middle between the burners where it's always kind of warm there because it has pilots. It just makes turning the handles in towards the stove way easier. But the ovens are not as dialed in as I wish they were. Obviously, the burners are not an issue because I can control that all with the dial, but the ovens don't read the most accurate temperature. So I think that they both cook hot, and I think that we need to get some oven thermometers. For the most part, it actually hasn't been a problem. It's definitely forcing me to get a little bit more creative, but that is kind of our update on the vintage stove. I feel like you guys probably appreciate little updates on the appliances and how they are going. One of the things that I romanticize about this season of the year is a pumpkin spice latte. I just absolutely love them. And so, of course, whenever we had pumpkin, that is one of the very first things I wanted to make aside from the puree itself. I wanted to make a really yummy latte syrup that we could keep in the fridge. And I just love that it's a little more cleaner than a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks or a local coffee shop. And that we can have it at home. So that is one of the first things I wanted to make. And the second thing I wanted to make is something that I absolutely love to have this time of year. It's a recipe from Brie McCoy's book, The Cook's Book. And it is just so tasty. It is pumpkin chili, or actually she calls it harvest chili. And it uses a lot of pumpkin up, which is why I chose to make it this day. And you can really be flexible with the meats that you use. And it's just so yummy to have in the fridge all week during the fall. Cooking a tasty, lovely meal for your family in a quiet home is definitely one of those simple pleasures in life. I had so much fun this day. For the most part, I just spent the entire day in the kitchen just processing the pumpkin, I guess, and pureeing it, making a latte and making some chili, and then one other recipe that's still to come. And just being in the kitchen and cooking, either with the baby around while she's playing with her kiwi crate or while she is napping. It is just so fun to me, and definitely one of those days where I realize like this is my job and I absolutely love it. My job is to just care for the family and be here with her and making nutritious meals and keeping the house clean. And this day I was feeling really, really grateful that that is our family's reality. Nothing screams fall more than a big pot of chili on the stove, especially whenever it uses a pumpkin beer for some flavor and a lot of pumpkin puree. I just love making meals like this because I can make them ahead of time in the day and be wrapped up before dinner even starts. And also they make the best leftovers. Like I mentioned before, I have never cooked with whole pumpkin, and so I did not know how much to expect, how much puree to expect from that size of pumpkin. And for the most part, all the pumpkins in our patch are pretty similar in size, and so I just had no idea how much we would get. I got almost a gallon of puree from one pumpkin, which means that we have like 10 gallons of pumpkin puree in our pumpkin patch, which is crazy. So whenever I wrapped up the pumpkin chili, I really wanted to keep going. I was just feeling so thankful and blessed and had so much fun in the kitchen. And I was like, I want to make one more thing. So I decided to make some pumpkin cookies, which I have never done before, and they turned out so good. Whenever I decided to make them, I did a quick Google search for a recipe and realized that pumpkin cookies can be kind of finicky and hard. A lot of the recipes I was finding were very involved. So I added another keyword and was like, easy. I need an easy pumpkin cookie recipe. And this one came up and it was so easy to make and turned out tasting just like a pumpkin muffin from Panera. I don't know if anybody else has had those, but they tasted just like that and they were so good. I added some chocolate chips in them and we have loved having them around for a sweet treat all week. I think I'm gonna have to make a lot more of these. If you are wanting to make these pumpkin cookies yourself, I found the recipe on sallysbakingaddiction.com. During this time of year, the things that are blooming outside are so inspiring to me, even though many of them are considered weeds. I just love the way they look. I love the overgrown look and how everything just gets this golden harvest toned hue outside. So I wanted to get out there early one morning before all the bees were waking up and cut some of that back and bring it in the house. I had so much fun putting together this arrangement from things that were just collected all over. And I find it to be so beautiful and inspiring, even more so now that these blooms are in my house. As always, I hope this video was inspiring to you. I hope you guys are all having an amazing start to your fall season. and I will see you guys next week.